You know, when you look back at some shows, it's kind of surprising how much recognition they actually got. Dexter's Laboratory, for instance. I mean, we're talking 3 Annie Awards, 4 Primetime Emmy noms, 4 Golden Reel Award, plus, what, another 9 Annies?
Exactly. It was huge. And it was the very first cartoon on Cartoon Network back in '95. That's pretty iconic.
Right. So for this deep dive, we really went into this comprehensive YouTube video.
Yeah, it's called The Entire Story of Dexter's Laboratory in 33 Minutes on the Jartoon channel. Really breaks it down.
So think of this as like your shortcut. We watched it so you get the highlights, the really interesting bits.
Whether you're a huge fan from back in the day or maybe you're kind of new to Dexter, this should get you speed.
Yeah, we're aiming for those surprising facts, maybe a bit of nostalgia, but also just, painting a clear picture for anyone just discovering it.
Our mission basically is to unpack Dexter's beginnings, the key characters, those really early storylines that set the tone.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Where exactly does all this scientific chaos happen?
Well, it's mostly in this suburban neighborhood, Genius Grove. People generally think it's supposed to be somewhere in California.
Genius Grove, okay.
Yeah, and there's this bigger city nearby, but it's like never named. Keeps the focus tight,
And in one of these houses, that's where we find the main family, right? The core 4.
Exactly. You've got Dexter, obviously. The kid genius, master of everything science before he can, drive.
Then there's Mom, just Mom.
Which is brilliant in its simplicity.
And Dad is just Dad. I love that.
It's very direct, isn't it? And then there's Dee Dee, Dexter's older sister.
The agent of chaos.
Pretty much. She operates on let's say, a different level than Dexter. Often the reason his experiments go haywire.
Haywire is putting it mildly. She's the queen of pushing the big red button she shouldn't.
But she's a fan favorite, right? Despite driving Dexter absolutely nuts.
Definitely. And that contrast, Dexter's huge brain versus the rest of the family's blissful ignorance. That's kind of the engine of the show, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It fuels so much humor. And it also kind of highlights Dexter's isolation, even surrounded by family.
Good point. But it's not just the family, right? There are other key players.
For sure. You can't talk Dexter's Lab without Mandark.
Dexter's rival, another kid genius nearby. And they really don't like each other.
Intense competition is putting it mild. Mutual desire for elimination.
Yeah, pretty much. Classic rivalry.
Then there's Monkey, Dexter's pet monkey. Seems normal.
But he's not, is he?
Nope. Secret life. He's actually a superhero crime fighter. Kind of like Perry the Platypus before Perry.
With a partner, too, right? Agent Honeydew.
Yeah, Agent Honeydew. This whole secret world happening right under Dexter's nose. It's brilliant.
It really is. And we also have the Justice Friends.
Ah, yes. The superhero parody. Like the Avengers or Justice League, but, sillier.
They pop up and just add this whole other layer of comic book absurdity.
Definitely taps into those superhero tropes, everyone. Okay, so let's dive into some early episodes. Season 1 really sets the stage.
The very first one, right? Straight into the madness.
Oh, yeah. Dexter builds an interdimensional teleporter, and surprise, a monster comes through.
And it eats him.
It eats him. So what does he do while inside? Writes a note to his past self.
Naturally. And gets Dee Dee to deliver it via time machine. You gotta admire the problem solving, even mid-digestion.
It immediately embraces these complex time travel ideas, doesn't it? Right from episode 1. And Dee Dee's role is
her disbelief at first, then the meddling.
Yeah, she and her past self even put on a little show to get Dexter the note. It's high concept sci-fi meets kid logic.
And then Dexter's main concern becomes being annoyed by 2 DDs, so he tries the teleporter on them.
Which, of course, brings the same monster back again.
Leading to another note from inside the monster. It's this cycle of chaos. Very self-aware for a cartoon back then.
It really is. Then episode 2 brings in the Dial M for Monkey segments.
Love those. The setup is always Dexter trying to give Monkey superpowers.
Completely unaware Monkey already has them. And a secret identity. And Agent Honeydew. The irony is just constant.
It never gets old. So in this first one, Agent Honeydew sends a message about a lava monster.
Right, but the twist is the monster isn't really evil. He's just trying to sleep under the city, and people keep waking him up.
So Monkey's big heroic act is?
He rocks the monster to sleep. It's actually kind of...
But then
the people above ground cheer so loud because Monkey saved them. They wake the monster right...
Perfect. Situational irony at its finest.
Exactly. Now, another early one gives us a real look at Mom and Dad's personalities. Mom gets sick.
And Dexter just cannot compute this. Moms don't get sick in his world.
Right. It shows how logic-driven he is, so he's forced to do housework.
Which goes about as well as you'd expect. Disaster.
Yeah.
And Dee Dee tries cooking.
Even worse, apparently. So Dexter's solution, inspired by Frankenstein...
He builds a robot mom. Of course he does.
But then he and Dee Dee fight over the remote.
Naturally.
Leading to... A full-on battle between two life-sized mom bots controlled by the kids, like Mortal Kombat level stuff.
That is peak Dexter's Lab absurdity. And Dad.
Dad comes home, sees the destroyed house, greets all three moms, doesn't notice a thing.
Classic Dad. His obliviousness is legendary.
It really cements that family dynamic. Then we get the Justice Friends debut.
Oh, yeah, this is great. Some intergalactic wrestler, challenges Earth's heroes.
Yep, Earth's fate hangs in the balance. Major Glory, Valhallan, Krunk, the usual suspects step up.
But it's Monkey who kind of saves the day, right? In an unexpected way.
Totally. Razzler dismisses him, flattens him easily, but Monkey just keeps getting back up.
Sheer willpower.
Exactly. Razzler is so impressed by the resilience, he declares Monkey the winner. Earth is saved, not by power, but by grit.
Amazing. A great subversion. Okay, then the big one. Mandark arrives, Dexter's rival.
And interestingly, this was the first episode actually written, even though it aired third. Sets up that core conflict.
And Mandark just bursts in, smarter than Dexter in class, seems to read his mind.
Total shock for Dexter. And then Mandark shows off his lab.
Which makes Dexter's look like, what, a kid's chemistry set?
Pretty much. He even yawns. The ultimate put down.
So Mandark gives him an ultimatum.
Yep. Be my lackey or shut down your lab. Dexter actually does it. Shuts down the lab. It's surprisingly dramatic.
But then Mandark gets distracted by DD.
Totally smitten, which gives Dexter an idea.
Yeah, sees the weakness.
Right. So he lays a candy trail, Hansel and Gretel style.
Leading DD right to Mandark's lab, knowing she'll destroy everything. It's devious.
Oh, yeah. And she does. Total chaos. Dexter watches, celebrates getting his lab back. Morally gray? Maybe.
Yeah.
Effective? Definitely.
You got to admire the strategy.
Yeah.
Even if it involves weaponizing your sister. Okay, let's talk about the actual pilot changes. Aired as part of what a cartoon.
Right. Simple title back then. Dexter's Laboratory. And it's pure slapstick. Dee Dee gets in the lab again.
Finds a remote, presses a button.
And poof, Dexter's a bunny.
So Dexter retaliates, turns DD into a frog, and then it's just animal transformation chaos.
Total mayhem. Back and forth. Birds, hamsters, everything. While Mom's getting annoyed downstairs.
The tension builds as she comes upstairs.
So they quickly turn themselves into slow animals. A turtle and a snail.
To buy time. Brilliant.
They change back just as Mom opens the door, but plot twist.
They swapped bodies. Oh, that's a classic ending.
Perfect punchline.
Okay.
Shifting back to Monkey. There's an episode focused on him and Agent Honeydew.
They go on a date.
Yeah, like a normal day. Until Monkey gets kidnapped, villain wants to rob Fort Knox.
So Agent Honeydew tries a rescue.
She does, but it's her calling out his name in desperation that actually helps Monkey break free, shows their connection.
Nice. Okay, now for a rare moment, Dexter and DD actually getting along.
It starts with them arguing, different interests, different heroes they look up to.
That's at the contrast.
Exactly. But then they both get obsessed with the same superhero, Major Glory, watching him on TV, dressing up.
And they both try out to be his sidekick.
Yeah, and Dee Dee gets picked. Dexter is understandably bummed.
But then villains attack them for real.
Right. And Dexter actually defends Dee Dee when a villain hits her. His protective side kicks in. Here, Dee Dee sees how tired Dexter is from the fight, and she chooses to stay and look after him instead of going off with Major Glory.
True sibling love. That's actually really sweet for them.
It's a nice change of pace. Okay, next challenge. Dexter owes NASA money.
$200. How does that even happen? It's brilliantly unexplained.
He tries all these odd jobs. Bad lemonade stand, homework help, fails miserably.
Meanwhile, Dee Dee's loaded.
Yeah.
Bigger allowance, and she wins like $200 million.
The contrast is hilarious. So NASA agents show up to collect.
And Dexter tries to raid Dee Dee's piggy bank.
Yep, but Dee Dee catches him and says she would just given him the money if he'd asked.
That's surprisingly mature of her, but there's a catch, right?
Oh yeah, she lends him the money but demands half his lab.
Leading to the great pinkification. Half the lab gets a Dee Dee makeover.
Exactly. Okay, science fair time again. Mandark's back.
But Dexter's weirdly confident this time. Shows off an old invention.
Yeah, while Mandark uses a literal magic spell book.
Wait, magic?
Summons an alien creature, Jojo, who grabs Dee Dee.
Of course it grabs Dee Dee, so reluctant team-up time.
Dexter and Mandark have to work together to save her. They actually succeed and win first place for heroism.
But the truce doesn't last, does it?
Nope. Immediately back to arguing over who deserved it more. Some things never change.
And the pets get involved too. Monkey versus Mandark's duck.
Quacker the fowl. Yeah, Quacker overhears Mandark sleep talking about getting rid of Dexter.
So the pets have a secret feud.
Yeah.
While the owners have no idea.
Exactly. They have this whole nighttime battle. The payoff is show and tell the next day.
Both pets are just exhausted.
Totally wiped out. Hilarious.
Okay, the road trip episode.
Yeah.
Car breaks down.
Yeah.
Dexter and Dee Dee are miserable.
Then Dad plays music on a jukebox that distracts a wrestler named Earl, making him lose his match.
Oh boy. So Earl wants revenge on Dad, tries to get him to arm wrestle.
Yeah, damages the car, everything. Dad stays calm, pacifist mode.
Until
Earl doesn't hold the door for Mom. That's the final straw.
Mom snaps, challenges Earl.
She does. But Dexter steps in, builds Dad a little device to win the arm wrestle easily.
Tech support saves the day. Okay, then there's the one where Dad just wants to play catch with Dexter.
Simple father-son bonding, but Dexter is not athletic.
Comically bad at sports.
Right. But then Dee Dee releases a giant monster.
As you do.
And this somehow turns Dexter into an amazing athlete.
But Dad misses the whole thing.
Completely misses it. Perfect comedic timing, Dexter's lab style.
The universe really conspires against straightforward moments. What about the meteor episode?
Dexter tries to destroy a meteor, accidentally creates a meteor shower. Oops.
So he has to call.
Mandark.
Reluctantly, yes. But they argue so much.
That they fail, and Earth gets destroyed. Briefly.
Seems like it. Their rivalry literally doomed the planet for a second.
Yeah. Okay. Beach episode. Mandark trying to woo Dee Dee. Notices she likes a surfer dude. So Mandark decides to enter a surf contest.
Despite having zero surfing skills.
Right. He talks to a tiki god statue, gets the idea to cheat using inventions.
But who triggers the trap?
Dee Dee, of course, accidentally surfs right into them.
So Mandark has to save her.
Yeah. Uses all his energy, saves Dee Dee, loses the contest.
Then
Unexpected twist, Mandark and the surfer guy actually become friends. Bond over surfing.
a Mandark bromance. Didn't see that coming. Okay, the parents' origin story. That sounds interesting.
It's surprisingly sweet. Mom had severe germ OCD, went to a doctor.
And the doctor's treatment was?
Hiring Dad to expose her to germs, like exposure therapy.
It's unconventional.
Didn't work great at first, but Dad invites her to a dance party.
And brings rubber gloves.
Yeah, so they could dance without triggering her OCD. It was really thoughtful. They win the dance contest, fall in love.
And the rest is suburban history with two unique kids. That's actually really charming.
It adds a nice layer. Then there's Dexter's existential crisis at breakfast.
Feeling ignored, wishes he could disappear.
And boom, whole family gets abducted by aliens.
Be careful what you wish for. But Mom springs into action.
Oh, yeah. Frees herself, frees the family. They race to save Dexter. Big hug moment.
How do they escape?
They rip the aliens' clothes off. Causes so much embarrassment, they just walk out.
Amazing. And they never find out why the cookie aliens wanted Dexter.
Nope. Just another weird Tuesday in Genius Grove.
Back to the science fair. Neither Dexter nor Mandark wins this time.
Right. A new girl takes first place.
So Dexter and Mandark team up to drive her out of town.
Their sportsmanship is just terrible, but their plan failed.
And the girl.
She reveals she's not even into science anymore. She's into boys. Specifically, Dexter and Mandark. Awkward.
Okay, the flashback episode, Bygone Errors. Just nostalgia.
Pretty much. Dexter and Dee Dee reminiscing. Lower stakes. Focuses on their history. Cute detail. Old Dexter still loves ponies.
Nice. Now, the fake out retirement, Dexter tells Mandark he's quitting.
Yeah, calls him up, invites him for a final lab tour, shows off all the big guns, alien communicator, atom smasher, time portal.
Mandark must be super suspicious.
Totally. Dexter offers him a smarter machine, insists Mandark use it.
Smells like a trap.
Big time. Dexter tricks Mandark into doing all the work to activate a world domination device.
And then Dexter takes control.
Yep. Reveals it was a long con, activates the machine, cues the opening credits sequence, master manipulation.
Brilliant. Okay, last but not least, the intended finale. Big crossover.
Dexter, Monkey, Justice Friends, everyone. Dexter's in Japan on exchange.
Accidentally creates a giant monster, Baxtera, from a volcano.
Yep. Godzilla-style threat. Heroes try to stop it. Fail. Monkey fails.
So Dexter reveals the lab to his parents.
Has to. They team up, discover union love power.
Mandark interferes, makes it worse.
Naturally. But Monkey charges up their family robot for the final blow.
And Dexter finally realizes Monkey is the superhero.
Big reveal. But then, the mind wipe. Dexter wipes his parents' memory of the lab.
And Monkey wipes Dexter's memory of him being a hero.
Exactly. So Dexter doesn't remember saving the world. Mandark takes the credit. Dee Dee's oblivious. Kind of sad, poignant ending.
Bittersweet, for sure. But then it continued with Ego Trip, the other intended finale.
Right. Its popularity kept the show going. This one's heavy on time travel again. Dee Dee messes with the time machine.
Future robots warn about the one who saves the future. Dexter's ego is intrigued.
He goes to the future, finds a pathetic, older version of himself working for Mandark.
Keeps jumping forward. Meets other Dexters.
Yeah, including a cool superhero version. The big plot is Mandark finding Dexter's blueprints, using a core to make everyone dumb, ruling the world.
Dark. So big robot battle, Dexters versus Mandarks.
Epic battle across time, but the ending.
Is it Dee Dee again?
Of course. She wanders in, sees the core's power switch, pushes it just to see what it does, saves accidentally.
Unbelievable. Classic Dee Dee. Okay, before we wrap, let's mention the pop culture nods.
Oh yeah, tons of them. Ratman for Batman, Mom and Jerry for Tom and Jerry, Mon's story, like Godzilla vs. Kong, adds a fun layer.
And that fan-written episode, Dexter and Computerist Get Mandark.
Yeah. A kid won a Cartoon Network contest. How cool is that? Real fan engagement.
Very cool. And we have to mention the banned one, Rude Removal.
Ah, yes, the legendary episode. Dexter extracts the rude parts of himself and Dee Dee.
And they become these cursing, though bleeped alter egos.
Exactly. Banned from original broadcast, but eventually aired on Adult Swim. A fascinating piece of the show.
So stepping back from the giant robots and time paradoxes, it's clear even early Dexter's Lab was surprisingly deep, right?
Absolutely. The creativity was there from the start. Time travel, sibling rivalry, secret superheroes.
Yeah.
It had a lot going on.
And hopefully listening to this, you get a real sense of how those early stories built the foundation for why the show is still so loved. It wasn't just random cartoons. It was building a specific world.
Definitely. So we want to hear from you. What are your favorite Dexter's Lab? Did anything we talked about today surprise you?
And here's something to chew on. With that mix of like high-tech genius and pure slapstick, what do you think is the most timeless part of Dexter's Lab? What keeps it relevant today?
Or here's another. If you could visit Dexter's Lab knowing everything we just discussed, what's the first invention you'd try to track?
Great questions. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the brilliant and often chaotic world of Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We hope you had fun revisiting Genius Growth.